ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack here in Texas and that it is doing so over its official radio station. In fact, the Islamic State claims that this was the terrorist group's first attack on American soil, and they promise there will be more and harsher attacks in the future.
The headlines from some news outlets scream that ISIS is just across the border. They are crossing into America every single day. They're prepared to swarm the United States, and often with little or no evidence anything of the sort is occurring. And the attempted weekend assault on a group determined to prove every Muslim is a bad one, and a cartoon that will seemingly always stand for death, you have the makings of a solid conversation. Let's welcome to the arena Senior Vice President of the Communication Strategists at the Victory Group in Tampa, Florida, Ashley Intartaglia, and former member of the U.S. House of Representatives, representing the 16th District of Florida, Mark Foley. I thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Ashley, I'm going to start with you. ISIS claims responsibility for the Texas shooting but offers no proof. And there are, quite frankly, a number of people who will say, how can we really make sure that any of this is true? Because ISIS will take responsibility for everything. And people on the ground will say that they're from ISIS, even though there's no proof, simply because it's the thing to do these days.
Right, and that's the problem that we're going to have with this new form of terrorism, is whether or not we can actually prove that it's tied back to ISIS overseas. And look, whether or not there's any physical proof of ISIS being involved physically in this, you can argue that they're at least responsible for inspiring this kind of attack through social media, through calling for lone wolves to rise up in places like the United States and Canada and start to conduct these attacks.
Well, isn't that different, though? Let me interrupt you for a second. But the inspiration, I think you're right, because you can inspire anybody to do anything. But don't you have to really cut the factual line here and say that maybe they funded them, maybe they didn't? I mean, you really have to be very careful here, because anybody could say that I'm from ISIS, but you have to have proof that it really does exist. Otherwise, you just have copycats, and you're not really sure who's attacking you.
Right, and I think as the investigation on this continues, more of that's going to come out. One of the guys involved in this had been on the FBI's radar in the past. The other one, there was very little information on him. But even some FBI agents have come out saying that they really do think there's a strong possibility that this was both of the men's attempt at an audition for ISIS, and maybe they were trying to impress the group who did come out and after the fact and support what they had done.
Congressman, that's dangerous if you think about it, because the word that Ashley just used, audition, it would seem that in many ways that's what we're looking at here in the United States, whether it's Mexico, the border, whatever. People are auditioning because they've got nowhere else to go and they want to be big time.
Exactly, Ed, and we've got to be extraordinarily careful that we investigate this. We shouldn't assume, nor should we promote ISIS as the causation. There are a lot of people watch TV, copycat killers, what have you, that act based on things they've seen on TV. We are in a dangerous time. I believe in my heart ISIS has a lot of satellite operatives, if you will, in the United States and could potentially strike.
So you think there are people actually here at this moment? You think there are ISIS operatives working in the country?
Oh, I got to believe so. I got to believe in any area where you have a large congregation of people. Think about what Europe is like today. Think of what happened in Paris. When you see these people that have been basically staging in those countries for years waiting to articulate a plan, that's what is frightening today. ISIS may not necessarily have a linkage to them, but they feed on these types of opportunities to both promote their agenda, scare America, frighten everyone, and claim credit for something they may not have anything to do with.
Let me get to the scare America. And Ashley, isn't that what we have to make sure that we are guarding against? And I've spoken about this, others have as well. We are being terrorized, and part of terrorism is to scare people into knee-jerking. We have to be logical. We have to find the killers. We have to take them out, but we can't allow them to overwhelm us with basically what is nothing more than fraud and fear.
Well, that's the exact definition of terrorism, is to strike fear into the hearts of people to disrupt our everyday lives. And I think in cases like Garland, Texas, people who organize those events should keep doing it. That's their right. That's what they're protected under our Constitution. I don't think that these issues are going to go away anytime soon. I think that attacks like this are still going to continue to pop up. If that means we need to train police be familiar with situations like that, then that's what we need to do. If we need to hire some of the great veteran-owned security companies that operate around the United States, then we need to do that. And stealing a line from Mike Huckabee's presidential announcement this morning, I agree with him. We need to treat ISIS like the snake that it is and go overseas and cut it off at the head, not the tail or the middle, but the head to really stop this here. We have to stop it there.
10-second answer real briefly, Ashley, from you first. The PEN Awards are coming out now. This is the PEN American Center honoring, promoting free speech. Do you think there's a fear there that something may happen?
Oh, of course, I think there's a fear. I mean, people are feeling terrorized. We saw what happened in Paris with the Charlie Hebdo attack, Garland, Texas. It's natural for people to feel afraid that this is going to happen again. But I do really commend the people that are accepting the award on behalf of Charlie Hebdo and that are still going to attend the event. I think that's the right thing to do.
10 seconds, Congressman. Fear, but then again, don't be afraid.
You can't be afraid. You can't live in fear. The fight the other night in Las Vegas, that was in the back of my mind. Could somebody strike? It's such a popular event. You cannot live like that. That is not America, and we will not allow it. We will not allow it.
The path to citizenship, Hillary Clinton says it's on her docket. Get back to work in the arena. Senior VP of the Communication Strategists at the Victory Group in Tampa, Florida, Ashley Intartaglia, and former member of the U.S. House of Representatives representing the 16th District of Florida, Mark Foley. All right, Mark, this one comes to you first. Hillary Rodham Clinton, she is calling for a path to citizenship for immigrants. She says it's a clear distinction from Republican candidates on the issue, full and equal path to citizenship. Has she got something here that will drive her to victory?
Well, certainly she advocates for immigration reform, but so has so many other Democrats, and they just can't seem to get it done. You know, I always applaud somebody who has a plan, but Hillary, you were Secretary of State. Nothing happened under your watch to improve immigration. You had the year of President Obama, and I understand Congress is involved. Congress needs to pass a bill. But I always am fearful of anybody who runs for office and claims, I've got a solution to the problem. They get there. Now, in this case of Obama, 6 years later, no results, no action.
So, Ashley, should we believe Hillary Clinton when she says, I have the plan, or again, is this just wonderful politicking?
Well, first, if she has a plan, I think a lot of us are curious why she's been holding out for this whole time instead of telling us what it is, so we wouldn't have been wasting so much time. But I mean, we know from the past that she supported the Obama administration's executive order on immigration. She supported things like driver's licenses for illegals. And I have to agree with people like Marco Rubio. Wherever you stand, whichever candidate you side on with this issue, which is going to be a major issue in 2016, we can't even have a discussion on what to do with the illegals who are here right now until we turn off the fire hose and secure the border and our employment verification system. Until we do that, we can't even talk about what to do with
Here's the point, though. Is Hillary Clinton the one who can actually get it done, or is she just blowing smoke up the Americans' backside again, basically saying, I'll do it, don't worry about it, vote for me, and I'll get it all done, when no one's been able to do it to this point, Ashley?
Well, I guess we're going to find out, because she's supposed to put together this brief that's going to tell us exactly what this plan is that she's been holding out on us for so long.
All right, well, we continue to see the holdouts when it comes down to American politics. Gee, what a shocker that is. Here comes an interesting one. Ashley, I'll stay with you on this. Chuck Norris, and again, I'm sure you know who Chuck Norris is. I mean, let's face it, Chuck Norris is the strongest man in the world. But Chuck Norris now is talking about something called Jade Helm 15. It is a multi-state training mission for special ops soldiers, 8-week period, July and August, right near Texas. He and many others feel that this is an introduction, if you will, for the government to take over Texas and to start running things in that country. I mean, I swear, look, I love Chuck Norris, but is this going over the edge? Is this really the one where Columbus goes, there's the edge and I've driven over?
Well, one, I love Chuck Norris and his wife. I think they've been great advocates for kids around the country and for veterans and people in the military. I don't subscribe to the conspiracy theory, and unfortunately, I think we're so conditioned as a society that when somebody doesn't give us 100% of the information, we immediately assume that there's a conspiracy involved. But look, let's face it, defense budgets are down. It doesn't make sense. It's not feasible. It's not practical to send this number of special operations military personnel overseas to train the way that they want to train them. And why not take advantage of what we have right here in our home base in the U.S.? We have a variety of climates, conditions, terrains that we can train people right here in a larger number that's probably more cost efficient. And because of the scale of this, the military had an obligation to let people know. I mean, think of the visuals that somebody in Texas may walk out of their house and see that could scare them.
But you don't believe that this is a government takeover of Texas?
Well, if people are worried about the government conducting surveillance, they should be worried about the government going on Google Maps, Google Earth,
hang
Facebook.
on, Ashley. I got it. Yes or no? Do you believe this is a government takeover of Texas?
No, not at all.
Okay, see, that's the point. Congressman, to you.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, I'm still waiting for Alec Baldwin to go to Europe since George Bush was elected in 2000. So I keep waiting for all these conspiracy theorists to actually execute a plan. Texas is not under attack. Key West is still part of Florida. Nothing's happening. We are trying to protect the domestic tranquility of this country, but some of these conspiracy theories really just have me laughing.
Hey, a conspiracy theory works in a vacuum. That's what's happening here. 60 seconds, last shot here. Alibaba has taken down a job posting that sought a woman to fill the role of programmer encouragement specialist. It says your appearance is adequately stunning to programmers. You don't need to be a talent, but you need to look good. Ashley, they took this down. Are you insulted when somebody puts up an ad like that?
Well, they said that it was supposed to be funny, and whether it was...
They all say that, don't they, when they get it wrong?
They do. But whether it was real or not, it definitely got people's attention, and it was humorous because some of the things I read were that you had to be able to wake programmers up, that you had to be able to basically have a crystal ball and inspire creativity. So I encourage people to read it. It was very, very funny.
Okay. Hey, Mark, maybe that's a good point here. Take it as a joke and everybody back down. What do you think?
Well, it's Marketing 101. We're talking about it right here on Newsmax, so they got our attention, and it's just like so many other things. You put a campaign commercial up one time, pay for it to air once. It's talked about through the news cycle for 3 days. It's great marketing. They've executed a plan. We're discussing it. They succeeded.
And I have no doubt they got an awful lot of people who actually did apply, whether it's a joke or not. I know the way that things are when it comes down to getting a job. Both of you hang tight for a moment. We have one more question left. It comes down to what today is. We're going to ask you that, the final word with those in the arena. It comes up next, right here on MidPoint. Quick program note here on Newsmax. Coming up tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, I will join you with the Hard Line with a one-on-one interview. Taya Kyle, the wife of Chris Kyle, the American sniper. She has a brand new book out called American Wife. Chance to talk a little bit about what her book needs to say to the wives of veterans and some of the things that she hopes to tell, some of those stories that she now brings that were not told either in the film or the movie. 9 o'clock Eastern Time tonight, the Hard Line with yours truly. Please join us for Taya Kyle and a whole lot more. Once again, let us welcome back Mark Foley, former congressman, and Ashley Intartaglia, who joins us as well. I have a question for you now, and here it comes. It's simple. We're going to close things out. You both know what today is, right? Everybody knows?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cinco de Mayo. Now, there are some people who treat this as a holiday. Are we looking at Cinco de Mayo? Possibly, because let's face it, we are a nation of immigrants here. Could it possibly, and should it maybe, become a holiday here in America? Taya, or I should say Ashley, I'll come to you first on this one.
I put this in the category of holidays like St. Patrick's Day. It's fun. It's a reason for people to get together and be jovial and drink, but I don't know that it should be a national holiday. It's Mexico's significance, and let them have it, but I don't know that it's ours.
Is that the same thing, Mark? Because a lot of people feel that's just it. It is Mexico's holiday. It's not. St. Patrick's Day is a different holiday here. They'll look at that as being something different. But, however, there are people who say, wait a minute, there's a lot of Irish immigrants here. They celebrate St. Patrick's Day. They make it sort of a pseudo-holiday. Why not do the same thing then for Cinco de Mayo?
Well, I think it is. I think culturally it's experienced, particularly in Florida. It's a very, very popular holiday, but it's not a holiday off of work. If the federal government workforce had its way, it would become one. So we've got to be very careful. Yes, indeed, it's like St. Patrick's Day. It celebrates a unlikely victory of the Mexicans over the French back in 1862. So it's very, very important for the Mexican community, if you will. But let's leave it at that. Let's have it a good day to celebrate their victory at that time. But I don't think we should declare it a national holiday.
All right, well, go ahead, Ashley, please.
I was going to say, I'm actually more in favor of making the 6th of May a holiday so people can recover from what they do on the 5th.
Cinco de Drinko. We were kidding.
Okay, see, now I knew somebody was going to drop that bomb sooner or later here. here because that's what everybody thinks about it is. And are we not at least going to agree on this, that no matter the holiday, no matter what it is, we respect everybody's desire for holidays and everybody's traditions, but if you're going to have a holiday, have it either on a Monday so we can make a 3-day weekend or make it on a Saturday so you can sleep in on Sunday. Yes?
Well,
Absolutely.
I always go for Mondays because I like those 3-day holidays. You put it on Saturday, no one wants to participate.
Yeah, but it's nice. You don't have to go to work on Sunday, though, Mark. You got to get these things right. You got to plan ahead for all these things.
That's exactly
Mark
right.
Foley, Ashley Intartaglia, we thank you so much for joining us. We'll do it all again, everybody. A happy Cinco de Mayo, and please be safe if you go out this evening, all right?
Thanks, Ed.
Thank
all
you
right,
very
folks.
much.
Thanks so much.